did an episode called Family Matters. Had the kids do a little interview and talk about what they like about fishing and what they like about the project that we're working on, repairing the boat. And this episode, I would like to talk to you about some of the fishing spots that we visited this spring and this summer, and give you guys a quick update about these locations. I'm just going to ramble on for a little bit and give you guys some information. And number one on the list, probably one of the worst places to fish, is a Possum Lake. Just too weedy, too many small fish, and they're very picky. And you see some big fish jumping out there, probably a pound or two, and can't catch anything. All we've caught are some small panfish out there. But nevertheless, I've lost quite a bit of fishing gear out there, and I plan to redeem myself in North Middleton Park. Out at the park, there's a little creek, the kind of Gwinnett Creek. It's pretty long. Snakes its way cutting across Pennsylvania and going to the Susquehanna River. At the North Middleton Park, that stretch of the kind of Gwinnett, I've done pretty good out there. I've caught a couple decent sized bass, a little over a pound, maybe two, and quite a bit of panfish, sunnies, bluegills, quite a bit of stuff out there. Even caught trout out there. So that's a decent spot to fish. The problem with that is there's a lot of logs and weeds and everything out there, so you can get hung pretty easily if you don't know the proper spots to fish in. The Gwinnett Creek also runs down through an area called Plainfield, that's south of Carlisle, between Carlisle and Newville. That stretch of the creek is a little faster. There's some man-made dams that dropped down probably about a good 4 or 5 feet, so the water's rushing through there. I caught some small bass in there, caught some whitefish in there, a couple panfish in there. It's a pretty rough area. The water level fluctuates between a couple feet, 1 or 2 feet, to about 4 feet, and there's a couple of holes in there where it drops to about 5-6 feet. It's pretty decent. But once again, the closer you get to the dam, the faster the water's running. The current's pretty swift out there, so most anglers go out there and they wade in the water and do their fishing that way. It's a decent spot. There's a spot in Carlisle called the Cave. It's a kind of a dangerous little area. I explained in another video that when you go into this secluded spot, you actually have to trek down a path in the bushes about 3 feet with like a 45-degree incline going down a slippery, muddy path. That path is actually on top of the cave. You get down that path and there's a water hole right there, or a swimming hole that the kids use. They have a swing rope, and on the other side of the creek they actually have a ladder built onto the tree about 20 feet in the air, and these kids jump off of and go swimming out there. They have a lot of fun out there. Me personally, I haven't tried it. I ain't that brave yet. However, there's supposed to be really good fishing over there, and further down away from the swimming hole is a dam, and right next to the dam you can fish there, but the area is not big enough. Well, haven't tried fishing there because I don't feel comfortable with it, so not sure if that's gonna stay on the list or be X'd off. Besides that, there's the Letterkenny Lake. I don't know if it's a reservoir, but it's a big, huge, beautiful lake. The access to that is really weird. You go up a mountain, and then you actually have a long driveway that's on a steep incline going all the way down to a parking area right at the edge of the lake. It's a beautiful location. Haven't caught anything out there. Actually got video of a young man, I believe his name's Jerry, We're out there fishing, and he was doing some catfishing, had his gear out, had his tent and everything, and he says he does pretty well out there. We stayed out there about an hour and didn't do anything. It was pretty cold, so we came on back. But we're going to leave Letterkenny on the list as another spot to go and revisit since it's summertime, and see if we can catch anything nicer out there. Chambersburg Reservoir, it's fresh water, and it's another huge lake up in the mountains, and it's beautiful. However, we didn't catch one single thing, and I saw the biggest bass I've ever seen in my life in that lake. They have this rock protruding about a good 5-10 feet over the water, and you can stand on this rock and you're about 10 feet above the water. And as you look down, the sun shining just right, you can see down through this water about 5 feet, maybe deeper. And there was the biggest bass I've ever seen in my life, just swimming around back and forth, and we were trying to catch it, and it kept teasing us, and after about 2 hours we gave up, didn't catch anything, and we left. This bass had to be 20 some inches long. It was a monster. So I'll be back out there one day to try and catch it. The Chambersburg Pond. I'm not sure what they call that little area. It's very secluded, and the access to that area is through a mobile home park or off the main road, and you have to actually jump a fence. It's really interesting, it's like make you feel like you're breaking the law and stuff. So you have to jump a fence to get in there, and there's this peak of land after you jump the fence that's probably 50 yards wide that goes straight out through this pond. So you have a pond on one side, snakes around like a horseshoe, and then a giant pond on the other side. We went out there and tried our luck, and Deshaun, my nephew, he actually caught a nice sized muskie out there, muskie, walleye, one of those pike family type fish. Caught a baby one, but it was about 12 inches, so it was a decent sized fish for him to catch. The gentlemen that were out there, they were using grubs, live grubs, and night crawlers, and they were catching panfish, small ones, but they were catching them nonetheless. So we plan on revisiting that spot and spending a little more time out there to see what we can catch. The only problem with that spot is there are trees all the way around this lake. There is absolutely no clear spot to stand and fish, except for like there's just one little boat launch area, and you can stand there and fish, but I think the fish in that little spot are wise to the different types of lures that we throw. So going in between the trees seemed to net better results for all the fishermen that we meet out there. However, we didn't do too well, but we'll revisit that one. That's the Ute Pond in Chambersburg. Then a little further down we have Caledonia State Park. Absolutely nothing. Didn't do anything whatsoever. Right outside of the park is a pond, and there are some decent sized bass in the pond. Well, I think they're all bread fed and probably eating hot dogs and everything else, and you throw a lure out there and they just kind of swim past it. They don't even care, so we're not going to that spot anymore. In Enola, which is across the river from Harrisburg, it's the Susquehanna River, and they call it the Point. It is a interesting spot. It has a boat launch, a gravel boat launch, very muddy area, thick, soft mud, so it's not the best area if you want to stand on the banks and fish. And then it has a lot of vegetation going around from the boat launch, headed south toward the bridge. The cool thing about it is you can actually fish up under one of the train bridges there. I mean, it's like one of the most awesomest sights you can see. That this really old bridge, all rustic looking and everything, and you can get up under there and fish. And I have seen schools of bass chasing minnows, not one or two bass, I'm talking 4 and 6, just swimming by chasing minnows. So we went out there and we tested our luck. There was a gentleman that actually caught a 3-pound almost 3 pounds, 2 pounds, 15-ounce bass out there, and he was using a top water jig, and he caught a 2 pound, 15-ounce bass. How do I know? I waited for him. So we tried our luck with a couple crankbaits and had the smaller bass. You could see them chasing the lure, but they weren't biting. And we tried fast, slow retrieves, everything. They just weren't biting. So we plan on revisiting that spot again too. The Susquehanna River itself has many access areas. The point is just one of the access areas that I was fortunate enough to find. There's another access area over in Harrisburg, which is behind a hotel right off Front Street, and they have a walkway to actually walk down from Front Street. It's like a little park that you can go down and you can fish. Only thing I can say is not the best spot to go fishing. The water is very, very filthy. Then there's the Pine Grove Furnace, which is a lake up in the mountains in the Plainfield, Newville area. Beautiful, small lake, got a nice dam and everything, got a section just for bathers to go out there and swimming in the lake. They have white sand out there like it's a real beach and everything. It looks really, really nice. There are some nice sized bass out there. I've seen some 15, 16 inches long, but they're very spoiled. These people go out there and picnic and they feed the fish their food. So we have panfish about the size of my hand, and they won't bite a lure. A little further down from the swimming area is another section of this lake that you can fish in, and some really decent sized bass in there as well. Same situation. So no matter where you go around this lake, the fish are so spoiled and hand fed that besides throwing a cast net out there, probably won't catch anything. So we won't be going back to that one either. And then further down from Pine Grove, I forget the name of the other lake. I didn't even write it down here, but there's another little lake literally a mile away from Pine Grove, and same situation. They have a boat launch. You can do rowboats, canoes, or electric motorboats out there. Decent sized lake. It's not as big as Letterkenny or Caledonia or anything like that, but it's a decent sized lake. And you can stand at the boat launch and you can fish out there. Done that several times. Not a bite. I tried worms, grubs. I tried my entire tackle box. Can't catch anything out there either. So that's my list of locations that we've tried so far. As you can see in red, I got quite a few that says 0. I mean, that means we caught absolutely no fish. So what we're going to do is revisit some of these lakes on this list, and with the help of you guys, sending emails to hoopd@hotmail.com with your preference of where you would like us to fish. If you claim to have the honey hole, you want us to come out and check out your fishing spot, drop us an email at hoopd@hotmail.com. That's HOOPDEEE@hotmail.com, and we'll be more than happy to plan a trip to come out and fish down in your little honey hole and see what we can catch. So that's all for now. Family matters. Keep it going. Thanks for your time.